It is one of the largest cases of e-cycling fraud in U.S. history, and it began with a Kent company. So this week, a judge sentenced the owners of Total Reclaim in Kent to more than 2 years in prison for shipping some of its hazardous electronic waste to Hong Kong instead of recycling it as they had promised. The case has global implications, but has it changed anything for you and me? Here's what we found out today. Now, first off, there's no federal law banning the shipment of electronic waste to other countries for disposal, and states cannot pass any laws to do that. So it's up to you and me to know where our waste is going if we want it to be recycled properly. Now, there's a watchdog group called Basel Action Network, or BAN, and it's based right here in Seattle. They are the ones that caught on to Total Reclaim scheme. Now, to be a member, companies have to agree not to export hazardous electronics. It also conducts regular audits and uses trackers to see exactly where their waste is going. Now, to see a list of companies approved by BAN, you can text the keyword recycle to 206-448-4545. Mark?